The Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sidney Rhodes Show. You know, why do this, Sidney Rhodes Show? Well, it's not about whether or not, we have all the answers. I think it's a collaborative effort. I think that there are a lot of brilliant people in the world, and this is a point, a critical point in history. And if we can circle the wagons round, if we can bring the people together to think about the concepts and look at things from a different angle, different perspective, look deeper, I mean, it's possible that we can help somebody. It's possible that we can create better structures, towards a more perfect union. You dig? I mean, so I really, I throw out a lot of questions, because I really want people to think. And, sometimes I just, I believe there's a utility to just allowing some things to be questioned, just that First Amendment right, just allow it to be questioned, and then if it's the truth, let it be the truth, I mean, if it stands, let it stand. If not, then we got work to do. You feel me? I think we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our future. We owe it to our children to get to the truth and then stand on that. That's the Sidney Rhodes Show, So I invite people from all different perspectives, with respect. We put it up. We put it to the test. That's what we do. Sidney Rhodes Show. And that's why we do what we do, Gotta love it. Sidney Rhodes Show. The Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sidney Rhodes Show. Hey. What's happening? Sidney Rhodes Show. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying warm wherever you are in the country and the world. I hope things are going well for you and yours. So grateful that you are spending time with us tonight. We're going to make it worth your while. That's how we do. We're going to make it worth your while. Got a great topic tonight. And we are going to get into the end too. Holla if you hear me. Well, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. He follows Twitter at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. All the programs are on demand. Free. What you worried about? It's free. Shucks. Check it out. Share it. You go to iTunes, you go to YouTube, you put in the Sydney Rhodes Show in the search bar. Boom. There you go. It's all good. Alrighty then. Well, so I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. Why you gonna ask me how I'm doing? I'm asking you how you doing. You know, just let me know. You know, you care about me too. Shucks. You know, we gotta care about each other. Now that's a nice segue. Dealing with caring for each other. Topic for tonight. Now I put a question on Facebook. Question was, should men and women stay married just for the children? Should men and women stay married just for the children? Now, for the children in quotes. Now, first of all, I truly appreciate the wonderful responses. I'm honored by the time you spend to collaborate and to share your views. I thank each and every one of you for participating. I respect it. You know, it's just great. It's just really great, because issues like this can really make or break the lives of our children, etc. So we have to have a certain level of diligence in our research. We have to have a certain understanding in our concept. Certain sensitivity, certain awareness. I mean, there's lots of things that go into a program like tonight. Trying to help people, help ourselves, right? I mean, you know, it's a community thing, but you're also somewhat in awe because there are so many variables. What you could say in a blanket statement, like, nah, just don't do it. Don't do it. You know, you can say things like that. And then in context, you might say, well, now, wait a minute. You know, I mean, it might not be. So you start to weigh the options. And during the process of weighing the options, I think we begin to see clear what our values are and maybe what they should be. You know, there's a funny thing about life. Have you noticed that sometimes we don't realize how selfish we can be until someone points it out? I mean, sometimes we can be selfish and we don't even notice it until we see the other person doing to us what we were doing to them. Holla if you hear me. It's just one of them type of things. But now, if you're talking about a family, now, you know, just on the strength, if you're talking about a family, that's a unit, a family unit that's in the same house. I mean, you got a mother, a father, you know, and children in the house. I mean, we talking now, we starting to get into that rare dynamic. I mean, we're already into a place. I mean, this ain't Ozzie and Harriet. This ain't 1920. I mean, you know, you have a family unit. That's a priceless, dare I say, environment, potentially. So we have to be careful, don't you think, that if we can save it, salvage, if we can make it healthy, if it can breathe again, can you dig it? That's a worthwhile endeavor. At the same time, being sensitive to the dynamics of today's threshold for pain. It's pretty easy, you know, for Cass to tell you, well, shoot, if you ain't happy, you know, show life. You should be happy. You wasn't put here to be unhappy. You know, you can do bad by yo, right? Now, see, okay, you know, now when we start to go down that road, though, the Sydney Rhodes Show, we're going to challenge those thoughts, because if that's true and if that's healthy, then it should handle some of our beatdown. I mean, we should be able to pound on that logic, and if it's the truth, it should still rise to the occasion, right? I mean, cream gonna rise, right? So I mean, if it is what it is, we should be able to punch that thing, and it's gonna come back up. I mean, you know, because I don't know if those were in your vows, right? Well, until I'm unhappy, I mean, what your butt get married for? And I mean, just real talk. If you could say, well, hey, Mr. Minister, I want you to marry us, but we're going to have our own vows. And one of the conditions is at the point when I'm unhappy, I get to go. Or if she unhappy, she get to go. So then, I mean, if y'all can negotiate that somehow and y'all put that in and that's the agreement you have, well then, that's what y'all promised to do, that as soon as somebody's unhappy, they can jump. But I don't think that's what happened at your marriage ceremony. I don't think those were the vows, right? So we gotta get to. We're gonna have to get down to the nitty gritty, and especially the magnitude of our conversation tonight, because we've already injected that there are children involved. I mean, that's inherent in the question. So it ain't just you leaving dude or she leaving you. Some children involved. Children, plural. Wow. So, it's a murky situation. Now, I'm going to tell you, I purposely did not make this an easy topic. I purposely did not make the conditions easy. In fact, to further complicate it, so that we can help more people, right? We can broaden out and look at more dynamics, holla if you hear me. So we provided a case study. So if you look on Facebook, there's a case study. If you are listening Facebook Live, then, and by the way, you're missing the music on Facebook Live. There's another link there, and all that is free. I'm telling you, click on the other link. Then we go to breaks and things like that. We play some great music, just by the way. So, I mean, it's a really great experience when you click on the other link and, boom, you'll be right there. It's still live. It's still free. It's all good. But it's a better experience, and the signal is sharp and clear and crisp, high quality. The Facebook Live is, it's kind of choppy at times and things like that. Plus, you don't get the music. But anyway, I digress. What I was getting to is that the case study, we posted it on Facebook, and we'll also read it to you. But it's just further making tonight valuable, because we're not going to take the easy way out. We are going to pound this situation and we're going to be specific. We're going to, we've got a man named Mike and a woman named Crystal. And, let me just go ahead and read it to you. Let's just go ahead and read, just in case you're not by something, you can, read it for you. So let me go ahead and read it to you so that we're all on one accord. Holla if you hear me. All right. Now, case study. Here we go. Now, I wrote this to, once again, isolate our thought process so that we can dig deep, but it doesn't have to stop there. If you have other thoughts to bring to the table, 917-725-4241. We are live and direct. We appreciate your thoughts. You do not have to agree with us. That is the rule on this program. We get down. You hear me? We get down. Sid don't care at all. We gonna chop it up with respect. We do it with respect, but you ain't got to agree with me. Come on and tell me what you think. I mean, we have people that have went through divorce from the parental side. We have people that were in several divorces as a child. In other words, their parents were married, they got divorced, they went to another, and they got divorced too. And, we have people that have went through all kinds. So you have a particular experience, good or bad or indifferent, depending on how you look at it. But you can let us know how it has or has not made such a difference in your life, because that can help people say, well, man, before I do something like that, I'm glad I heard that, or I'm glad that triggered this other thought. And that's what the program's all about. Here we go. So, case study. After 15 years of marriage, Crystal wants a divorce from Mike. Mike wants Crystal to stop being selfish and consider their 3 children. Cam, who is 12, Mia, who is 6 and has special needs, and Madison, who is 3. Mike has never been physically abusive, and he's a good dad. But he is emotionally unavailable for Crystal. Crystal feels abandoned. She is unhappy and desperately wants a divorce. She's come to you for advice. Come to you, and even you, come to you for advice. What should she do? Key points: 15 years of marriage. Crystal and Mike, they have 3 children. One has special needs. Mike's not. I'm not making it easy for you. It ain't like he just was, busting her in the face every day, and now you easily say, well, put him in jail and get away from it. No, we can't make it that simple. Okay, so I'm making it clear he ain't been knocking her upside the head. He ain't done that. Mike's not that dude. So we ain't trying to make it easy. Mike's not that dude. He's a good dad. 3 children. Problem is, he's not giving his wife the emotional care, sensitivity, attention that she needs. She is unhappy. She desperately wants to get out of this thing. She feels abandoned. Mike's saying, yo, you need to stop all this selfish stuff, girl. Okay? So, part of the complication is Mike is not saying, I will now do something different to address your emotional needs. Now, that I purposely put it like that because Mike ain't no doggone, he ain't no saint either. Okay? So his contention is not, oh, you know what, babe, you deserve more of my attention emotionally, even though I'm doing these other great things. It's also my responsibility to take care of your emotional needs. I'm going to do a better job of that. Please stay in the marriage. He's not saying that. Okay? So that's why I say we're making it complicated on purpose. Can you dig it? What he is saying is, yo, we got 3 babies. And I'm doing my part for these children. Nobody can deny I'm doing my part for these children. I'm a good dude. So you need to get over that emotional stuff and handle your business. We made vows. Stop being selfish. It ain't about just you. There's 4 other people, 3 children and myself, 4 other people in this house. You need to get on the good foot and stop being so selfish. She's feeling like, what? Like I'm not important? Like my emotional needs are irrelevant? Now I'm being selfish because I just want to be happy? Because I want you, my husband, to tend. I'm just pouring myself out. I'm just draining myself. And your response is stop being selfish? So she's beat down by the lack of emotional attention from Mike. So Crystal's she's tired. She's tired of going through this every day, feeling like she's by herself. So she's decided, hey, then I might as well be by myself. If I'm by myself, I might as well be by myself. Why am I staying here in this situation when maybe there's something better for me? Maybe there's some freedom for me. Maybe there's some happiness for me outside of this situation. I'm going to bounce because I'm not going to just stay here and die emotionally and in every other way. I feel like it's killing me to be here. And, I'm going to tell you, there are studies. People, that emotional thing is deep. You can feel like you dying. You might not have a chronic disease, but if you feel abandoned and you feel like you are that unhappy, quote unquote, depressed to that extreme, you might feel like it will start to get to your physical. Holla if you hear me. So, you can't minimize that in her mind, Crystal's hurting. And some of you are too. So the type of the picture I'm painting. So we got to ask ourselves, all right, well, where do we go from here? Because the major thought was what? Should you stay married for the children? Because at this point, that's Mike's message. At this point, Mike's message is, stop all that other stop all that other stuff. We got these 3 babies. They need a mama. Obviously, they need me and they getting a good funk from me. So you just need to step it up and do what you need to do and stop crying about your little emotional whatever you're going through. Stop being selfish, girl. That's Mike. And I'm not saying Mike's correct in that position. We painting the picture so we can see the problem that we have. Okay? Nor am I saying that Crystal, she might have other issues. I mean, the more we talk about tonight, we talking about it, we're going to get deep. I mean, we might find out Crystal, maybe she's, she's already seen a couple doctors. Maybe she's heavily medicated right now. That wouldn't be surprising that by now that she's had, trouble sleeping, She's had trouble motivation. She's had, trouble her nervous system. I mean, there's all kinds of things that she may be. And those are prescriptions we're talking about, let alone she might have a few bottles of that Jack stored somewhere. Some doggone Viagra, some this and some that, I'm just saying. We keep it real on the Sydney Rhodes Show. That's why you got to love it, because we are 100 on the Sydney Rhodes Show. So we anticipate a great night tonight. We're here 9 to midnight. Look, we do it. We live 9 to midnight. You don't even know nobody do it like that. Don't even try it. We the real deal. And we appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us. So you are welcome. 917-725-4241. You do not have to agree. We're trying to get to the truth. So if you have a perspective, feel free to chime in. You can also get with us on the chat. And we also have some a special guest that we've had once before. He'll be chiming in a little later. So, hey, it's just going to be a great, great night. I'm looking forward to going through this case study. I'm looking forward to getting to the real deal. This is not going to be easy. There are children involved, and there are grown folks who are hurting. And maybe Mike's hurting too. Maybe that's why he's coming with all this aggression. Maybe he feels unappreciated. Hey, if you've been there, we'd love to hear from you. Maybe you're going through it right now. Make sure you stay locked. Think about those children, the impact it's going to have on them. Sydney Rhodes Show. We'll be right back. The Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sidney Rhodes Show. Shh. Have you heard? You ain't hear about that. Did you hear? Who told you? That Increased Solution LLC is making a 24/7 network? Come on now. Well, what about the Sidney Rhodes Show? Oh, Sidney Rhodes Show is still going to be from 9 to midnight, though. Oh, okay, because, you don't be tripping. Sidney Rhodes Show is still from 9 to midnight. Okay. But, you mean all those other hours, 24/7, need to be filled? Which means cats can have their own show? You tripping. Are you serious? Or they can be guests on other shows? So you mean if you had a talent or idea or something you want to do, you got a chance right here to reach the world? Come on, man. What's the catch? What? All they gotta do is get at you on Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. So wait a minute, what kind of topics? I mean, what they could do? What? Relationships, religion, news, education, health, race, business development, entertainment, empowerment. What? All of that and whatever else. What? All they gotta do is get at you. Come. What you trying to say? That if they want to get out there, they can get out there. This their chance. For real though. For real, they just go Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr., send you a message and be like, hey, this is something I want to do. And then if it's good, it's good. Is that what you're trying to say? For real? Man, that sounds all right. That's kind of cool. All right. Nah, I'm with that. I ain't going to hold you up with that. All right. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Okay. All right. I might try to have a show. That's all right. Well, wait. What if I got a product or a service or something I just want to advertise to the world? I could. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr., and I can hook up and try to get that too? Man, that's all right. Oh, man, go on, man. That's cool, man. All right. No, I ain't gonna hate. I like it. 24/7 network. All right, helping people, giving some good perspectives, having people think about things, man, and some entertainment too, man. That's hot. All right. I'm cool. That'll work. So yeah, it's just a part of speaking out for those that, don't have a voice, we have an obligation, to help cats. It just can't be about us all the time. There's people that need help and this is what we do, we got to reach back. We got to help out. Sidney Rhodes Show. That's what we all about. The Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sidney Rhodes Show. Hey, we're back. Hey, thank you for being with us tonight. We appreciate you so much. I was just checking out the Facebook post, and again, just some great responses. Really appreciate your thoughts. And some of these we're going to have to really dig into. The mass majority of people, the mass majority, said heck nah to the question of should men and women stay married just for the children. No, triple no, quadruple, just no. There were a few who said, well, no, wait a minute, things can be worked out. Maybe, we can salvage, maybe we can bring some healing. But most folks, nah, get on out of here with that. But again, Sidney Rhodes Show. You are welcome to voice your opinion, your thoughts. We do it with respect, but you do not have to agree. I want to hear what you think. And we're going to collaborate and we're going to get to the real deal. That's what it's all about. And this is a tough one tonight. This is a tough one. So again, if you are listening Facebook Live and you want a better quality experience, technically and otherwise, music and all that, you click on that link. It's all free. Everything. We just do it for you. We do it for you. Come on now. But it's a much better experience. It's better quality and all that. Now, there's a chat feature there. There's also the chat feature on Facebook Live, and you can call in 917-725-4241. Okay. Let's go back to, we got to start somewhere. So again, the case studies online, and real quick, I may just maybe every now and then I'll go through it, but let me just one more time in case you're just joining us. I'll read it quickly for you. After 15 years of marriage, Crystal wants a divorce from Mike. Mike wants Crystal to stop being selfish and consider their 3 children: Cam, who is 12, Mia, who's 6, who has special needs, and Madison, who is 3. Mike has never been physically abusive and is a good dad, but he is emotionally unavailable for Crystal. Crystal feels abandoned. She is unhappy and desperately wants a divorce. She has come to you for advice. What should she do? Dang, Sid. I'm just saying, throw them skills out there every now and then, But it's a tough one. As not only are the adults in a challenging spot, but there are 3 children. Now, Mike's position is that she's selfish. Come on and think about these children. Handle your business. But let's look at Crystal. We got to start somewhere. Let's look at Crystal for a moment. Now, again, we here from 9 to midnight, so we got time. So don't think because I'm going to go one way that that's the last turn we're going to take. We're going to be twisting and turning, and we're going to get into it. This is Sydney Rhodes Show. We get into the mental gymnastics. So don't get defensive. We're going to work through this, and we're going to help each other get to the real deal. Now, look, let's start with Crystal. So her position is not that I don't want to be married. Her position is not I don't want to be a mother. She has come to a point, and maybe you have too, where it doesn't seem to make sense that she should be feeling how she's feeling in the situation. Like you might have a job and it pays pretty good. It's your job, but you going through stuff you shouldn't have to go through on that job. Holla if you hear me. It ain't that you don't mind going to work every day. That ain't what you saying. You ain't saying, I get up and go to work. You ain't saying, you not saying that. You ain't even saying you got to be, do whatever you want. You saying you come back from break on time. You gonna do the do. But there's other extra stuff, the extra. You'd rather be somewhere else than deal with the extra. But you ain't saying that you don't mind working. You'll work. But the extra stuff, that's where Crystal has come. She's come to that place where she might even want to be married to somebody else. And it's not that she's opposed to marriage. But this feeling like I'm by myself, that you're supposed to be my husband, you're supposed to be there for me, you're supposed to be on top of my needs. And where you at? This Crystal spot. Where you at? I have pain, I have ups and downs, and I'm going through this by myself. I thought I was in a marriage. I thought that I had somebody in this with me. This is where she at, right? I thought I wasn't by myself. So, hey, if I'm going to be by myself, I might as well be by myself. So Mike's looking at this saying, what? Wait, ho. Now, we done been together 15 years. Now, all of a sudden, you so unhappy, you trying to bounce. You better go somewhere with that. Grow up. Mike, in our case study, Mike is not Mr. Sensitive, ladies and gentlemen. Mike is not Mr. Lower. Well, okay, baby, let's, what we need to do is make sure we have relationship moments and we won't have one day a week, just be family time. And no, he's not coming with no strategy. He's saying you need to leave that stuff alone. You've been watching too much TV, girl. You need to get on, to get on to your family and take care of your business. I go to work. I take care of the children. I'm on my grind. I ain't looking for nobody to pat me on the back. I'm taking care of my responsibility. You sitting around talking about what's in it for you. You sitting around talking about how you feel or don't feel. It ain't about you right now. It's about us. So she's not getting the help. She's not getting support emotionally. So she's by herself. Now, ladies, what do you do when it's like that? If you're just in a relationship with a dude, what do you do? But now let's say that dude is your husband for 15 years. What do you do? Now let's say you got 3 children. What do you do? 3 young children that need their mama. And according to our case study, Mike's not a bad dad. Mike's a good dad. And he ain't been going upside her head. So Is it an illusion? Does she just need to toughen up, or do we need to have more to Crystal? Do we need to say, now wait a minute, whether it's just in her mind or not, if it's how she feels, it's how she feels. She got a right to feel that way. And if she's damaged, then that's hurting everybody in the house. I can go for that. For real. I can go for that. I mean, look, if mama is jacked up for whatever reason, even if she's caused it herself, if mama's jacked up, baby's gonna feel that. That ain't just during pregnancy. Babies feel it. Come on, I mean, you still feel it now. If your mom or dad, or if you blessed to still have them around, you know, you can feel certain things at times. Just something ain't right. And she feel it about you. So she got 3 babies in the house. Well, 12, 6, and 3. So she feeling unhappy, abandoned day in, day out. That energy is transferring through the house. So we have to say that whether she should be feeling that way or not, the fact that she does feel that way is impacting the household. Would you agree? Yeah, I mean, if she feels that way, she feels that way. So now we got to decide what's best here, what's healthy here, what's healthy. Because you might say, well then she needs to leave so she can be healthy before it kills her, this emotional pain, before it continues to rob her children of happiness. Because if she's in this depressed state, then she is giving off this energy, and the tension between her and Mike is going to continue to escalate. Now the children are going to see this type of escalation. They need to be separated. They need to get away from each other. Now, hold on now. I want to read you something. Sydney Rhodes Show, 917-725-4241. I want to read you something. This is what Mike said to her. Holla if you hear me. This is what Mike said to her. I, Mike, take thee, Crystal, to be my wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part, according to God's holy ordinance. And therefore, I pledge myself to you. Are we going to just throw that away? Sydney Rhodes Show. We'll be right back. The Sydney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sydney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sydney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sydney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sydney Rhodes Show. Now, I know you ain't afraid to call. I know you ain't afraid to call. And you know you don't be agreeing with everything I say. Don't it? You do not be agreeing with everything I say. Then keep it 917-725-4241. You better call 917-725-4241. You know, why do this, Sydney Rhodes Show? Well, it's not about whether or not, we have all the answers. I think it's a collaborative effort. I think that there are a lot of brilliant people in the world, and this is a point, a critical point in history. And if we can circle the wagons round, if we can bring the people together to think about the concepts and look at things from a different angle, different perspective, look deeper, it's possible that we can help somebody. It's possible that we can create better structures, towards a more perfect union. You dig? So I really, I throw out a lot of questions, because I really want people to think. And, sometimes I just, I believe there's a utility to just allowing some things to be questioned, just that First Amendment right, just allow it to be questioned, and then if it's the truth, let it be the truth, if it stands, let it stand. If not, then we got work to do. You feel me? I think we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our future. We owe it to our children to get to the truth and then stand on that. That's the Sydney Rhodes Show, So I invite people from all different perspectives, with respect. We put it up. We put it to the test. That's what we do, Sydney Rhodes Show. And that's why we do what we do, Gotta love it. Sydney Rhodes Show. The Sydney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sydney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sydney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sydney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sydney Rhodes Show. Hey, welcome back. Again, we appreciate you joining us tonight on the Sydney Rhodes Show. Thank you all. We are honored that you're with us. I say we're going to go down several different roads tonight. It's such a deep issue. And so, again, I don't want you to feel as though because we go down one street that means that's the end of our conversation. Don't feel that way at all. But we do have to try to give some kind of, weight to the different ways to look at this, because people have so many different situations when it comes to divorce and the impact of such. So let's look at one. Let's look at one. I gotta be careful a little bit. I was involved with a woman years ago, just many years ago, and we had a conversation once about the love that she had for her child. Okay, and I felt it real deep. We were actually talking about transplants and things like that, if this were to happen. Yeah, come on, y'all. Just sometimes you just be kicking it and I wonder what would you do? It was one of them kind of moments. Well, anyway, would you, if this would keep your child alive, would you give this organ, or would you do this for your child? And that woman looked at me, and I'm telling you, I felt that she meant what she said. I'm just telling you now. And she said, I would die for my child. Boom. Full stop. No hesitation. It wasn't, I would die for my child. Now, that stuck with me. Now, this Sydney Rhodes Show, so I'm going to get a little, I got to get a little deep with you. But part of me felt, now see, this is me sharing something with y'all. Now, don't tell nobody, okay? Don't tell nobody. But part of me felt like, well, dang, but what if we were married and I lost you for that child that's not mine? Like if your child needed a heart, and for whatever reason, it would fit or whatever, just go along with me. I'm just telling you how I was thinking. And this could be the most terrible thought ever, right? Like, yeah, but that's why I'm confessing it to you, okay? Hey, we talking. But it did cross my mind. How about that for honesty? It did cross my mind like, dang. Because I really felt she meant what she said, that she would die for her child. I'm thinking, well, dang. I mean, I don't really know your child like that. I really ain't involved with your child like that yet, So you telling me I could be all wrapped up in you and then something could happen and you would, boom, you would be out of here? I mean, I respect the love you have for your child, but that's going to leave me with what? With what? Because I don't have that kind of relationship with your child. You're not my wife. We kicking it, but so I'm thinking, well, wow, why would I keep investing in this situation? And this woman could be out of here because she got that kind of love for her child. Now, see, that's some man talk. And I see you gotta ask yourself, well, dang, Sid, was that some insecurity on your part? Was that some selfishness on your part? See, I've played all that, in my mind, and I've re-questioned myself and things like that. You have to allow yourself to get in those moods, and and then you can grow from what you know about yourself. You can learn about yourself. Now you take that as one to grow on. Holla if you hear me. Well, anyways, I may not feel the same way now as I did then. That was a long time ago, long time ago. But I will say this. That if we take that sincerity, if we take her commitment to doing whatever it takes for her child, even if it means she would give her life. Now just hold on to that. Hold on to that part. But then, if the marriage has her unhappy, it's okay to just walk away and leave the marriage, even though it may harm her child, so that she can be happy. See, I think that would be something we have to talk about. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, because if you tell me, now look, this is just one way of thinking about it. Sydney Rose Show, we put thoughts out there. Okay. If you tell me you would die for your child, you ain't gonna let nothing harm your child if you can help it. You gonna stand, you'll fight a bear for your child. You would do all this. You would lift a car up even if it caused you to die. And you would do, if somebody was shooting, you would jump in front of the bullets and save your child. But I ain't gonna be I ain't gonna be unhappy in this marriage. Nope. And if my child's got to get over that. Whoa. Wow. I mean, there's some kind of disconnect, but you can feel free to help me understand it. You would die for your child, but you ain't gonna stay in this unhappy marriage for your child. Now I'm hip to what some of y'all are thinking. Well, that's because in that situation, she actually could be protecting her child by getting her out of the situation. I hear you thinking that, but I'm not sure you can prove that. I'm not sure. Maybe you can, but I'm not sure. Because the other side of that coin is then find a way to make it work versus running away. I mean, then why'd you make this vow to begin with? Till death do you part. You didn't have the out clause of being unhappy. So if you're so committed to not scarring your baby, if you so committed to not wait a minute. Now, come on, you gotta go with me just a little bit. Because I'm not trying to beat up on you, sister. A lot of men and women, obviously by definition, are divorced. And maybe if they had to do it all over again, they would do it differently. And maybe once you saw how your children were impacted, maybe once you saw how their future marriage did not go so well, that they chose divorce a lot quicker because mama and daddy did it. So when I got unhappy, I did it too. Maybe if you had all that to do over again and how your grandchildren are now being impacted. So how your divorce may have led to your grandchildren now growing up with their parents being divorced. Don't tell me there aren't people who don't take responsibility like that. You may try not to and push on, or, I'm going to just get at the guy. Well, no, but see, this is where we at. We got to deal with it. Because if there's a way that's healthier, if there's a way to mend, maybe we have to protect the rare jewel of a family unit. Because in these days and times, if you blessed to have a mama and a daddy in the house, if we can find a way to keep that together, wow, can you dig it? I mean, that's important. That's important. So I want to understand Are you saying that you've weighed it out? Talk to me now. Are you saying that you've weighed it out and said, well, my 3 children, if Crystal says my 3 children, they strong, they'll get over it. You know, it won't hurt them too bad. Is that the calculus? That you've played out their life and you said it won't damage them that bad. Okay, but what if you get divorced and Mike now moves across the country somewhere? Oh, well, he shouldn't have. He knew he had these responsibilities, these kids. He should have stayed right there. Okay, well, what if your new husband moves you across the country? What, you gonna not go? Well, no, they need to stay close to their dad. Is that what you gonna say to this dude that could care less about you? Are you gonna stay close to your baby's daddy, that's your ex, if you get remarried and your new husband who's attending to your needs and has you happy and has openly and willfully adopted your children, are you going to make sure that he stays in the same city close by to the original biological dad? True. Is that what you're going to do? Or are you going to be like, hey, well, let's go? So you got to play all this out. You got to weigh it out. That's what makes it so complicated. But did you do all of that for you, or did you do it for them? Because if you were willing to die for your babies, did you really fight to keep that family unit together? And if not, maybe that's what we got to do. Maybe. I mean, our case study is clear. He ain't going upside your head. And he's a good dude, good dad, but he's not giving you what you need. I'm accepting that. I'm accepting that he's got some problems. I'm accepting that he should be a better husband to you. I'm accepting that. I'm not arguing with that. I mean, I wrote it. He's not perfect. But if you was willing to die for your babies, maybe there's a way to work through this to get Mike on the right path. Or isn't it worth it? Or aren't the vows worth it? Or don't you think the impact on those babies is going to be strong enough to make you, well, what? See, this is what I got to understand, brothers, sisters, ladies and gentlemen, fam. I want to understand, where does happiness thing come from anyway? I don't understand where that is the end all be all. Well, are you happy? Oh, well, if you ain't happy, something wrong. I see. Where's that philosophy come from? You can become president and have awesome responsibility, have the weight of the country on your shoulders. You ain't necessarily happy, but you got to do a job. You might be happy if you get people some better services. You might be happy at some accomplishments that you're able to make. But day in, day out, I mean, look at Brother Barack. Look at how gray his hair turned. It didn't turn that gray because he was so happy every day. Even old boy Bill, how gray he turned. I'm just saying. Since when you have to be whistling Dixie in order to be, that's the benchmark for I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I want to know where that came from. That happiness means you doing the right thing. Explain it to me. I mean, I don't even know if you could prove to me that Jesus walked around smiling every day. Jesus. In your mind right now, in your mind, I don't care if you a Christian or whatever. I could listen to me. Be honest with me on the Sydney Rhodes Show. In your mind right now, you know in your heart that you don't even picture Jesus smiling all the time. In your heart, you know I'm on it. He ain't no way. You don't see him smiling all the time. So why is it that we get into this loop right now in our situations where we feel like, well, if I ain't happy, something wrong. Well, maybe, baby, it's tough. Maybe it's hard out here. Maybe it's hard in the yard. Real talk. I mean, was it easy for Dr. King? Was it easy for Harriet? Jeez. Was it easy for your grandmama? your happiness. I mean, I want you to be happy. Come on now. I want you to be, hey, I want to be happy too. Shucks. I sure enough want to be happy. I want you to be, I want us to be happy together. But there's going to be some hills and there's going to be some valleys. And just because we hit a few, that don't mean we supposed to be apart. It might mean that we supposed to hunker down even tighter. That's what it might mean. Sidney Rose Show. Well, now let's see. So I'm giving the clear perspective here that Crystal should feel as though, and she should have her emotional needs tended to. I'm saying that I'm on that team. You know, I'm telling Mike, yo, you blowing it, dog, for real. Now look, I'm telling Mike that. I'm like, dog, you need to step it up. For real. If Mike was, thinking that it's only taking care of the children's needs, if it's only going to work and bringing home the bacon, that ain't the end of it, man. You know, there's a covering. There's a covering. Come on now, y'all know I'm talking the real talk. Like Christ loved the church, okay? So there is a giving for the need, right? That was a need. Them cats was out there in the sun, they fading away. Get them cats some food. Give me that schoolboy's love. That's all we got is the schoolboy. Okay, well then feed them cats. Give them what they need so that they can be strong, so I can hear what I got to say. So there is an attention to the need. Holla if you hear me. So Mike, if your woman is hurting, you're not supposed to just walk by that. Because by attending to that, you're also attending to your children. Because that's their mama. And furthermore, y'all supposed to be one. So since when do you have something hurting you and you don't tend to it? Come on now, y'all know I'm on it now. Holla if you hear me, Sidney Rose Show. Shucks. If y'all really won, how you gonna dismiss if part of you is jacked up? Okay, well then if that's cool, then Mike, let me just punch you in the face and be like, don't worry about your face, dog. No, don't worry about your face. No, don't worry about your face. It's just a part of you, but don't worry about it. Just let me keep punching you in the face, Mike. Don't worry about it, Mike. Don't worry about it. Just the same way that you don't worry about your wife, that part of you, who's also you, that you're not concerned about how she feel. You know, don't just let me punch you in the face. Then don't worry about your face either. Many members, one body, right? Don't worry about your face, man. It don't matter, right? No, you do matter. It does matter, and you do care. And you're gonna be like, you gotta stop hitting me. Okay, so now when Crystal's calling out and saying I need some emotional attention, Mike's got to step up. Real talk. Real talk. Or else what would you marry for then? No, really. What you married for? I mean, if you want to just do your thing, then just do your thing. You got a right to that. But you got a family now. But I'm advocating here for the work ethic of a hard situation, and I'm saying, is it valuable enough? Simply because we get to a point where we are emotionally detached, or simply because we get to a point where we are not feeling happy in the spot, or simply because we get into a spot where it's confusing or whatnot, and then society says, well, hey, you deserve to be happy. You're supposed to be happy, so, move on. No, wait, stop, hold on. Yeah. Hold up, wait a minute. It's got to be deeper than that. Dr. McGHEE, you live on the Sidney Rose Show, man. I'm glad that you called, because I'm getting more and more upset over here, and so I'm so glad that you just called in. Maybe you can help me calm down. How you doing tonight, sir?
Sid, man, I'm good, man. Listening to the show, a lot of directions it can go in, man. But a fantastic topic. How are you, man?
Man, I'm for real. I'm like, look, this is, I know you feel me, but there's so many, exactly what you just said. There's so many directions, man. But, if you take certain turns, it's got to bother you if you're a good dude, because you're thinking, well, dang, what you get married for then?
Man, as a married man, yeah.
In that case, because if she was a good chick, you should have left her available, because Sid is looking,
Mm-hmm.
So you should have left her out there so I could have got her. Doggone it. I'm just saying, I mean, man, But anyway, hey, on the real side, though, we gave out the hookup here with Mike and Crystal and the 3 children, and just it's an honor to have Dr. McGHEE on the program tonight. And so I just want to know, like I said, you got so many different directions you could take, but take us somewhere down one of these paths, and let's see where we go, bro.
Man, I could start with, really piggybacking off what you were saying. Why did you marry her in the first place?
Okay.
As a man, right? As the man in the relationship, you said as Christ of the church, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the kids are going to take that. You're going to be looking because there's some hurt with those kids. You have a daughter that has special needs. You have a 12-year-old that's going through that. I call it the cocoon. When kids get into like that middle school stage and they start going through it because their body's starting to change. They're starting to go through puberty. They think they know everything. Then they realize they don't know anything at all. And all these emotions are happening at the same time and their body's changing. They don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's the 12-year-old. Then the 3-year-old is coming out of the terrible twos, so they call it the terrible twos, right? It's just the inquisitive stage, right? They're going through the house, they're screaming, they're yelling, they don't know what's going on. They're trying to figure out, they want independence. They're going through the same thing the 12-year-old's going through. It's in a smaller package.
Mm-hmm.
Then the girl with the special needs. Now, there are a range of special needs, but that when you have a child with special needs, I'm telling you, it takes a lot of work as a family to deal with that, to work with that individual, that child, so there's a lot of work. That's a lot going on in this family.
Mm-hmm.
And the man, as the person that's taking care of the family, this is the deepest wound. Like you mentioned, if you get punched in the face, are you not going to worry about your face? Yeah, you're going to worry about your face.
That's right.
Right? But if you punched in the face and you stabbed in the thigh,
right?
You gotta stop the thigh from bleeding. The face will be all right. You gonna let the face do what it do. I can't put all my attention on the face right now because the thigh is bleeding. This is an artery. You might have an artery coming out.
It can take you out. It can take you out. Yeah.
Right. The face you might be all right. You just got punched. You got a black eye. You might have a black eye. You might want to put some ice on that. But you might need some help.
Mm-hmm.
I'm patching up the leg. I might need somebody to hold the eye so I can continue to take care of the body.
Mm.
So there's a lot going on in this situation, right? And then, so the man's naturally going to feel like, hey, this is not a time to be selfish here. It's not a time for you to be selfish. And if you're talking about there's an emotional void right now. Crystal, you really have an emotional void right now. But it's still his job to take care of all of that. So, yep, he got to deal with the face too, and the gushing leg, and the artery. He might have to run to the hospital and come back and not get any sleep, and then take care of and help with the solar system project with the 12-year-old. Change the feeding tube on the child with special needs.
Right.
Or change the diaper.
Right.
And change the diaper of the 3-year-old at the same time.
All that.
You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, you got to take care of his wife. Because that was first. That relationship probably existed first. I'm not going to say it did, right? Because I don't know, did they have kids before marriage? But that relationship typically is first. You got to take care of because you're right. That when that woman, oh man, it can go deep. So the woman, that emotional energy, they have a frequency that can set the tone for the household. What's the saying said about the woman? If mom ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Right.
Have you heard that before?
I mean, I agree with the theory. I mean, it transfers, right? It transfers throughout the whole house.
It does, man, in a major way, and it's so on a spiritual level. I mean, man, women, they they're deep. They're deep, man. They're deep. And as a man, you're right. You gotta take care of that woman simultaneously, man. It just has to happen. And so you're right. I'm with you. Brother gotta step it up. That's asking a lot of them. It is. It's asking a lot of them.
Now let's I don't know, I like to make people upset with me, so I'm not going to ask you to ride that train, but cuz because cats, I put it out there, just I know folks be throwing stuff at the phone and throwing stuff at the computer, when I talk, but I'm just saying Mike, in his mind though, my man is also feel like, hold on, dog. We going through all we going through. I'm doing the best I can, and now you over there acting like, because you don't watch the little shows on TV talking about your happiness. Girl, you better come on with it. Right. So I respect that, Crystal. We exactly what you said, 100%. I respect that, but I'm just saying from Mike's view, Mike's like, come on with that. You better step it on up. I need help over here. Yeah. And you talking about divorce? Wait a minute, wait. I need help. We bleeding. As a family, we're bleeding, and the same is true from the reverse. Doc, Mike is saying, wait a minute, if all this gushing, the blood, if all that's true, and I'm supposed to do that for you, then the fact that I'm going through all this pain, you, Crystal, should be feeling the same thing I'm feeling about, hey, you gotta get me to the hospital because I'm struggling to keep this together, and you trying to jump ship. So it go both ways. It does.
And absolutely. And I was getting to that point too. So it's her. She got to get him to the hospital. No matter how happy or sad she feels, she got to get him to the hospital. And at some point, I'm not saying she doesn't have to put that aside, because she's not. She's not going to put it to the side because she's not really wired. She's not totally wired that way, right? She's not wired that way. That emotional piece is important. Because they're a unit, man. They're a team. Like you said, they are one. They're one.
Yeah, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him get divorced when if they can fix it. If they can both get to the hospital. We're not trying to minimize that Crystal's in pain. We're not trying to minimize that. But Mike is in pain too, and he's now in a lot of pain. Even though he coming with all that aggression, all that, girl, you better suck it up, and he just might not know how to deal. And the best way he know how to deal might be how his daddy dealt, which was not with the I love yous, right? He might be getting it from the old school, right? And his love language was being expressed when he went to work every day, brought home helped that environment be safe, taking care of the baby. That's his expression. So he like, wait, man, what do you mean I'm not attending to? I'm showing love every second, right? But that's how he gives that language. That's how he's speaking to it.
Yep. You know what? And that's the stuff that needs to be worked on a daily basis between those two individuals. That communication has to be there. That understanding has to be there. You have to know your spouse almost better than you know yourself, man. You got to study her. You have to be, and it needs to be vice versa. But you want a healthy relationship, you want a strong relationship, that has to be something that's the yin and yang right there. That has to be the back and forth. I know you. I know this is what he needs. This is how I can speak his language. I know his language is he's a giver.
Yeah.
He gives. He works. This is how he shows his love. That communication has to happen. Additionally, I've been wanting to say, this is the part I've been wanting to say, man.
Go ahead, bro.
Mike and Crystal married, right? She wants to divorce.
That's right. 15 years.
When they got married, there were witnesses there. Let's just say they had a traditional wedding, right? They had witnesses there. See, the job of the witnesses, man, they support this marriage. Now, I know people might get mad at me. No, because no, Dr. McGHEE, listen, no, it don't even work like that. When you are in a marriage, you keep your issues in the house. You deal with that, because when you start letting people into your marriage, you know what I'm saying? People are going to say that. When you start letting people into your marriage, that's when you had a problem. But again, we're getting away from the collective and being on this whole selfish case. It's all about me. It's all about about me.
Let's go down that road for a second. Let's go down that self. I hear where you're going with the witness. I'll make sure we come back to the witnesses helping,
please.
But I'll make sure we come back. But just go down that selfish road for just a second, because like we got to take all these different paths because maybe there is something to that selfish thing that's going on right now.
The selfishness is deep, man, and I'll start here, man. There was a rapper, and he said this line, and it blew me away. I think it makes so much sense. And the line that he said was, he said, a woman's life is love, and a man's love is life. So when I read the case study, when I'm listening to the Sydney Rhodes show, and I'm processing all this, I'm thinking about Mike with his life. Because his love is life. Like, I love life. Like, I need help to stay in life. I got to keep things going. I got to take care of my kids. I got to support my family. I got to do what I got to do to make sure that everything is rolling and making things right. Then you got Crystal who says, listen, my life is love. And I don't have that. I don't have the love in these trying times. I'm struggling because I love my daughter and I see her in pain because she has these special needs and that I can't do anything about. And my husband, he's not supporting me.
Wow.
In all of this.
Wow.
So the selfishness piece works in this duality with Crystal, whose life is about love, and Mike, who loves life. And that's his selfishness piece. So he's being selfish, she's being selfish, and selfishness, that's a deep thing, man.
Wow.
It's a deep thing, and that we can go down a long road with that.
Yeah, you're dropping the nuggets. You're dropping the nuggets, Doc. Okay, well, not. Let's go back to the witnesses. So people want to think like, don't talk, keep your business at home, don't put it out in the street. But I think what I'm hearing you say is that there may be a benefit to tapping in on some of those people that were there for you in the beginning.
And you know how hard it is to marry somebody?
Nah.
Let me tell you then, because I'm married.
I'm allergic to that, man.
I know this, man.
I take extra precaution. I mean, I got a man. I got a bulletproof vest around my heart. No joke. I wear it all the time. I wear it to sleep.
See, I understand.
Well, part of the thing, and not to cut you off, but part of the thing is exactly what we're talking about. And I mean, I honor the institution of marriage. Okay, like I say, man, my parents, and I'm blessed, they are still together, married to this day. So I don't run past if you're gonna make those vows, you're supposed to stick to 100%. Now, so it's not that I'm running because it's something that's just a trivial thing. It's because I see the seriousness of it, and I'm not trying to just jump in and then jump out. If I jump, I one time, man, this is just once. I'm not trying to do it 10, 15 different times, man. It's just not, no, because it's a serious thing. That's how I see it. It's that serious. You got to be that serious about it. So I appreciate what you're saying, and that's why I'm saying, hey, I might start wearing 2 vests just to, man, because it's hard for a brother, man, and it's a beautiful women out here, man. It's just hard on a brother, man. It's hard. I'm telling you, man, it's hard.
I get it. And I see that's what I'm talking about. I respect that about you, man. You see, most cats, they're jumping into marriage, and you haven't even really had time to live alone. You haven't even had a chance to experience you fully as an individual, and to learn yourself, and to be able to put yourself in a position to come to the table to be able to say, I recognize my selfishness, and I know how to put my selfishness aside. I recognize my language and what it is that I'm admitting to this potential partner.
Right.
You haven't spent time. There are cats who haven't spent time with that. They go to men. It's a good idea. Oh, I got her pregnant. I might as well marry her. That's one of the, some of the older the thoughts on marriage. You got a pregnant, you got to marry.
You better go in and put it, just because of that, right?
Man, yeah, and cats are jumping them into marriage because it feels right. I think this is something I want to do. Something I want to do. But to understand, this is marriage is a covenant. It's big, and I respect you for that because so many men. I have friends, man, who are divorced now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like as soon as the relationship gets rocky, as the storm comes,
there it is.
They get a little wet. Oh man, I don't got to take your shirt off. I can't walk around in a wet shirt.
Storm coming.
I'm out the relationship. I'm out. I'm in the house. I'm not gonna sit and weather the storm because I can't. I haven't even. See, you said your parents are married to this day. So you've been able to see a marriage work. I'm sure you've seen the roller coaster.
It ain't easy. It is a roller coaster. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Not. And you are giving up yourself. You're giving up your life.
That's why I'm not feeling this little, like every day has to be smiley, happy, to validate whether or not you're supposed to be here. Like somewhere there's this thought, well, something must be wrong. It shouldn't be this hard. So now you're ready to jump ship because somebody done told you it shouldn't be this hard. Well, maybe the next 2 years of your life gonna be that hard, but how do you know that after that you might not have 30, 40 years of bliss?
Right.
Because this is a lifelong commitment, right? So I mean, you might have some rough times, some rocky moments. That don't mean it's gonna last forever.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. That mission, the mission has to be embedded. The mission has to be plain and clear. It has to be developed, and then it has to be sustained. What's the mission? What's your mission? Those are the types of conversations you have to have with yourself. Those are the kind of conversations you should be having when you're dating, because it's gonna hit the fan. This is gonna happen in a relationship. And then when you bring kids,
there you go. Man. There you go. That's what I'm saying. We got 3 right here in this scenario, and you've been laying it out. 12, 6, and 3. One with special needs. I mean, this is serious because it's not just Crystal and Mike. And how many millions of children right now either are growing up in that situation or have grown up in that situation. And the pain that they know in their heart right now. There are people listening to this program right now. I know for a fact there are people listening to this program right now that have went through that, and it did something to them. Put it like that. They may still be the greatest, whatever. Right now, you're Dr. Jason McGHEE, even though you grew up with not even seeing your dad like that, But so it's not that a person can't overcome, but you can't tell me the word daddy issues don't mean something to you.
Oh, come on, man.
So there it is.
Come on, man. It's like chapter 9 in the book that's coming, man. Daddy issues. Huge, man.
Huge.
Void. There's a void in my life because of that. And in my life, there's this. I feel like as a dad, this might sound weird and funny. It might not even make sense, but I feel like I overdo it as a dad. I'm a hyper dad, hyper masculine when it comes to my kids. I'm a hyper dad. Like I go above and beyond, and then I go above and beyond that, and then above and beyond that for my kids, because I didn't have it. I didn't have that. And I want to make sure. And I want to be sure that I'm sure that I'm sure. I want to know that I know that I know that right. I've done the absolute best for my kids.
Right.
And for my wife. And see, that's the thing, man. When kids come into the picture, and you have a mindset like I have, or have the experiences that I had without my father, the focus on the kids can oftentimes take the focus off the wife.
There it is. That's where Crystal's at.
Wife.
That's where Crystal is. She's like, because my man is, I mean, she's feeling abandoned.
Yep. And that's why you can't always do it by yourself. You cannot always do it by yourself. So I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree totally with the idea or the notion that, no, you got to keep those doors closed. Don't let anybody into your marriage, because that's when problems start. I get it. I know there was a couple shows ago, you guys were talking about that on the City Road show.
Yeah.
And men and women being friends and things like that.
Right.
Keeping that door closed. I mean, you gotta guard. You gotta be the guardian of that door. You gotta be the guardian of that door. But I'm saying, if you have a wedding and you got 200, 150, 200 people there who witnessed it, their responsibility, in my opinion, their responsibility is to make sure that this marriage stays together.
So maybe I need to stop going to weddings because I didn't know that I had that kind of responsibility, man. So shucks. I mean, this. I might be like, dog. All right, I sent a gift, but I can't show up because Dr. McGHEE said you might have to call. I don't want you calling over me coming over there, dog. Go ahead.
Hey. Yeah, you heard it here first, man.
But it makes sense. I mean, on the real side, it makes sense that we talking about people that obviously heard your, commitment, did not stand up and say they had reasons why you lawfully couldn't be together. I mean, they holding it down saying we support this. So, Hey, let's not be children. We know this is a tough thing called marriage. We know that we're here today to celebrate the union of these two. So, if we think that it can work, then we're also available to help it work. And that to me is a beautiful testament. I mean, that right there would be a beautiful thing. Say, hey, you can lean on us. For real. Mm-hmm.
That's what it should be. But you and I both know, you've been in weddings before. People who are married, it's marriage isn't looked at this in the same through the same lens anymore. Divorce rates are through the roof. Relationships. I was reading some of the posts, man, and I saw some people saying, "Oh, unless it's adultery, then it's okay." And I'm of the notion like, even that, you got to work through that.
That's deep.
Work through that because it's not really deep. About the physical act. There's some things underlying that, all of that.
That's deep,
There's some voids that led to that. There's some needs that aren't being met. There's some things that are understood. There's some things that are being communicated. There's some things in the past that haven't been reconciled that led to that, that pointed to that.
Let me throw this at our audience for a second, Doc, because you're so deep right now. Let me just throw this out there. And technically, now see, I'm not saying I would roll that way. Right. If my wife is out there sleeping around on a brother, my wife is out there sleeping around on a brother, even if there's other issues or not, I might just have to let her be. Now I'm just saying that might be okay, but I will have to say that from my understanding, this was a permissible reason to divorce your wife, not that you had to divorce your wife if she did this or if he did that. So technically, that's why I say what you just said is so deep, and I want to just say that to our audience on the City Road show that Dr. McGHEE was so deep right there. But if you take it to what he's saying, really, the Bible never says, well, if your husband or wife slept around on you, you have to now do it. It was more so that Moses allowed it to be in that case, that there was an allowance given if this were to happen. That you could do it, because otherwise don't do it. But you could do it in that sense, but you don't have to do it in that sense. How do you hear me? Now, from what you're saying is that you still going to look at what was behind all that. So like if Crystal right now is feeling like she's emotionally isolated, she's not getting her needs met, and Dexter Saint something from the old Raw Eddie Murphy swinging, and as she started to feel like, well, I'm gonna get my needs met one way or another. It might be, the cause might be because day in, day out, when she was, trying to get some attention from Mike, she couldn't. And so that's what really was underneath it. It wasn't so much that she really wanted to cheat on him, but she just wanted to feel alive again. and she didn't, feel wanted and all that for at least a moment. So that's deep. Mm-hmm. I ain't saying I'm going with you on that, but because she might have to just keep on. She might have to stay with Dexter. I hope you happy. I hope you're happy.
Yeah, and I get that, and I'm just saying that when you go into a covenant of marriage, you got to exhaust all your options before you decide that things. I mean, because there are situations that happen, man. I mean, I've known couples where the woman had serious drug problems, man. And I mean, you talking about trying everything, from counseling to therapy, in and out of hospitals, and it was just the addiction. The addiction was so tough that it was hurting the family, and it was, I'm talking about exhausting all of your options,
right.
And I think there's a time when you might need to move on for the betterment of that family. And there's a lesson to that. There's a lot, and the kids are going to be affected. Everybody's going to be affected. The community's going to be affected. But
for those of you who don't know, Dr. Jason McGHEE is also a principal of grade school, and he's married, has 3 children. So, Doc, what do you see when you talk about the children? What do you see in the lives of the children? How are they impacted by divorce or these trying situations? What type of things do you see?
Let me start with this. Almost at first sight, you can kind of a sea of 300 students. You can tell. It's almost like you're a soothsayer. You can tell which students come from a stable 2-family home, right? I mean, a married couple. They have a mother, father in a home.
Yeah.
You can almost smell it on them.
Wow.
They have you can sense the values. You can sense the respect and the dignity for the institution of school and learning and elders and peers and just understanding, respecting authority and the system. You can see it. You can smell it. On the flip side,
mm-hmm.
You have students who may be super withdrawn, wild and boisterous, loud, students who are always in some sort of trouble, or the student that is very dramatic. And this could change by the day, and these students can go into any of these different buckets that I just mentioned on a daily basis. I mean, or within the context of a day, they can jump into these buckets. And oftentimes you go to the source. They come from a single parent home. Mom and dad are getting a divorce, especially those kids who I mentioned first, who have that stability coming to school, and then there's a rift in that family, and you see the students begin to withdraw, and they all act out in different ways. It could be silence, it could be destructive behaviors that we'll see or experience, violence, and so they come in all shapes and forms, but when I tell depression, when I tell you how real it is, and you go back to the source, it's that family structure. And this is how strong or weak it is. If it's present, if there's a structure. Because a lot of kids, the structure that they have is school. School starts at this time. Lunch is at this time. Recess is at this time. We're going to do math this hour, reading. We're going to do science and social studies this time. We're going to have PE. Then we're going to go home. And that's the only structure they have during their week, during their day, during their week. And when they're at home, the other, 16, 17 hours a day, when they're at home, there's no structure there. There's no family structure. So, yeah, you see the depression. You see all of that. And oftentimes it's tough for those of us that are in education because what can we do to affect that, to deal with that? On top of trying to follow the curriculum, to achieve on all these targets that they need to meet on standardized tests.
Right.
We're trying to educate kids, but now those of us that are in education, we wear so many hats.
Right.
Because they're in urban schools. In our urban schools, we have so many kids who are coming from these broken homes. And we are in charge of fixing that.
So if you're a male teacher or a male principal administrator like yourself, this may be the first time that child has heard an adult male give them an instruction, something that they must do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and for a lot of kids, it's tough. And you often hear, "You ain't my daddy."
That's sad, man. That's really sad. It's really sad because I'm thinking about how that plays back into our situation of the trials of the marriage. Because how does the woman now? Again, we're just talking certain paths, even though there are lots of complexities. But how does a woman have a healthy relationship with a man if she has no man that was a part of her life to begin with? Doesn't have a man, fix the English for me, but she came up without that male in her life. Now, how is she supposed to have a healthy relationship with another man if it's happening for the first time and she's now an adult?
Yep.
Where's her frame of reference? The same as that child coming to your school talking about you ain't my daddy, you can't tell me what to do. How does she know how to? So now we have this woman who's in this relationship and this dude, and he may not know what to do either. But now there's 3 children involved, right? So he half crazy. She's this is all new for her. I mean, is this what we got nowadays? Is this what we're? Are these? I don't want to say the best we can do, but is this what we're facing right now? Where Cassians have no idea what they really supposed to do. They don't even know. They have no idea what a healthy family really looks like, and he's just going for it. Like, well, okay, well, I guess that sounds right. Well, okay, I guess that looked good.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, that's what we're dealing with. I mean, as you were saying that, I was thinking about food. If you have no idea what it's like to eat a healthy and balanced meal, have a healthy, balanced diet, and all you know is McDonald's, the gas station sandwiches,
red Kool-Aid, Navalettas.
Yeah, man, Johnny Apple Treats, man. I mean, if that's what you grew up on, and that's all you know.
Yeah, and I did say Navalettas just in case. Yeah,
you're gonna get some of that healthy stuff, and you're gonna be like, ugh, this is gross,
what is that?
Man.
What is that? Right?
No, I don't want to eat that. And that's why there's so many relationships where there are women who they go for the bad guy, and they push away this good guy, and then they have the conversation with the girlfriends. And they say, I let the one get away. So then we're able to recognize the healthiness, that healthy relationship that was coming down the walkway. You know what I mean, man? Because so it is tough. It is tough. That's why you can't jump into these things, man. And we're in a situation, Sid. We're in a situation, because all this stuff it begets itself, man. And it creates a cycle. And we're in a cycle right now where we already know what the black man, looks like. Let alone, I'm talking about in the mainstream media, how he's portrayed, and his role in society. Yeah. And if he's being removed from the family aspect of things, the family institution. You're right. There aren't a lot of models that people can look to and say, boom. Now, fortunately, we have Brother Barack in office right now.
Yeah, for a few more days. For a few more days.
Right. So for the last 8 years, my son's 8 years old, and all he's known is a black president.
That's deep.
Who's married with kids. That's all he's
deep.
known, right? He knows who George Washington is because he learned about it in school, right? But from his personal experience, he's seen a black man in office with a wife, and he has 2 parents at home, you know.
Both doctors.
He understands it. They're both are doctors. You know, and he told me the other day, he made up his mind. He said, Dad, I don't want to get married. I just want to live with myself. You know,
8 years old,
that's
man.
Not a bad thing.
8 years old?
8 years old, man. You know, but he has a reference. His reference is I believe is being, you know, etched in the subconscious of his mind, so that when it comes to relationships, he's learning about what a healthy, strong, and progressive relationship should be, and what it is firsthand.
Mm-hmm. So this is what we're saying, and I appreciate where you're coming from about the role model there, and I mean it is deep that your son 8 years old is the only president he's ever seen. So if we go back to Crystal, and you know, I mean I know you're gonna hit this one right out the park, Doc, but you know what you do every day with your children, riding back and forth, you know, an hour each way, you know, to work because you know where your school is, you live in a different town, you know, so that whole commute that's going on, and they get to see you as principal, they you know, your children, and by the way, all our programs are on demand, ladies and gentlemen, and we had a great interview before. We had the whole Dr. Jason McGHEE story. You go on demand, YouTube that, so you can listen to the story. It's a very inspirational story. But, you know, right now, his children are actually in his school. They are students in the school that he's a principal of, so they ride back and forth with a hour-long commute, roughly. So anyway, what I was saying is that if you know, God forbid, something were to happen and y'all were divorced, that may not even be happening right now. And then what type of impact would that have on your children?
You know what? You know, my kids are very inquisitive, very thoughtful, and they pay attention. I think that this could go for them, man. For them, see. My kids, our family, I try to lead by instilling values and principles in their life. Values, principles, morals, those types of things, building a solid foundation so that in the event that something happens like that, my goal, my mission, I'm not talking about that mission, my mission as a father, as a leader of this family, is to instill those things in them so that they can move on. Mm-hmm. They can move on, and they have something to build on, and it's not cracked, it's not broken, and they understand that, okay, you know, all right, this happened to my mom and dad, or this happened to my dad, mom, and split, or, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, they know how to process, they know how to think, they know how to make decisions based on their value system, man. Based on their value system. Some hurt there? Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's my mission. That's my goal. That's what I want. Now, we're talking about kids here.
Right.
They're used to seeing their mom and dad every day. They're used to daddy doing the extra upon the extra upon the extra, right. Like I mentioned earlier.
Right.
They're used to their mom, you know, coming in and breaking down the homework, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, washing them up, kissing them on the forehead good night every single day, every single night.
Could
So
you
for
fake
mom
that?
and dad,
Could I
that
mean
could be
I know
good.
we're getting so deep. And by the way, Dr. McGhee is available for live speaking engagements to come to your school, to your churches, to your organizations. Doc, please give me
Yes,
your
sir.
contact information right quick, please.
Yep, on Facebook, Dr. J McGhee, McGhee. That's where you can find me on Facebook, and on Twitter you can get me at J underscore McGhee, McGhee, Twitter, and Dr. J McGhee on Facebook.
If you missed any of that, we'll make sure that we have him repeated again before he leaves us for the night. But Doc, I appreciate you being. I mean, this is City Road Show, man. I know I ask questions that just other folks wouldn't even ask, man. You know, so I appreciate you being that transparent. And I mean, that's why I hope people contact you and bring you in, because I mean, you're not holding back and you sharing the love. And it's just great, and I appreciate it, man. We really appreciate you. We support you and everything you're doing. Now, let me just. I got to go a little further though. Like, could you?
Please.
Could you fake it? Like, like right now, you are extremely busy. Your wife's extremely busy. She is an actual doctor. She's on call. She goes here. She works extreme hours. You work extreme hours as principal, and you have your speaking engagements, and all this is going on, and I mean, all 3 children, the whole thing, right? So could you fake it where you and your wife, if you were having tough times like Crystal and Mike, in order to just keep the house going, keep the children going, where they wouldn't see it to that extreme? Is it even possible?
That's a good question, man. I would like to say yes. I would like to say yes, as a logical being, right? As a person who thinks logically first, emotional second, or a tertiary area. It might be down the list somewhere. I would like to say yes, because the way that my family's structured, man, the way we are structured, like I said, man, we intentionally try to, this is what to get deep. All right, so we intentionally try to make sure that we're always the model for our kids, no matter what's going on with us. If we're beefing, because we beef, man, a lot. We disagree. We're very different, but we are definitely married. I'm an early bird. She's a night owl.
Okay.
So we're different, man. We bump heads on a lot of things, and when we argue, and I can't sit here and say, oh, my kids don't know that we argue. They don't know. They don't see us disagreeing or.
That's just real, though, right? That's just real. Like you said, marriage is work. I mean, people, they're not going to always agree. So people need to stop that whole, delusion as if, everything is peaches and cream. No, cats argue, cats beef the same way you do right now. I mean, with your own brother, sister, mama, and you love these folks, and you still don't agree with everything. So why you think you're going to get married to this cat and agree on everything? You're not.
It's part of it, man. It's part of it.
So at least you keeping it real, by saying that, you go through these things.
I'd be a fool to think that they don't see that, and they don't hear that, because kids are always listening and watching. Even though they're playing with the trucks on the ground, they're still paying attention. Mm-hmm. They're still listening
and can feel
right?
it.
Yeah. And to think that they wouldn't know, to think they wouldn't know, I think that's almost a slap in the face to the kids, man. It's my kids.
Okay.
But can you fake? Can we? Push through until the kids are of age, until they are all out the house, until they are adults, to be here for them. And
maybe is that better? I mean, I think that's where we're trying to go to help the people that are struggling. Maybe that's the issue. Is it better, Doc, that if we could do that, because we don't know, maybe in a couple of years or maybe in a couple of months, maybe the two, Mike and Crystal start to see eye to eye, things start to get better, right? We don't know, but if they give up now, right? Okay, so is it, if you have to weigh it out, is there merit to saying, well, we're going to keep this together because we're not physically abusive, we're not cheating on each other, at least not yet. At least not yet, and yes, we do have this emotional problem, and Mike's not doing all that he's supposed to be doing. We all agree to that, so can we target on that and keep the family unit together at least long enough? Or is that healthier than just saying, nope, we ain't gonna fake it, we ain't gonna, nope, if we can't keep it real, can't keep it smile, nope, we out of here, it's done. If you have to pick one, which one is better for the children?
I think you stay. I think you stay, and you work it out. But there's so much to it, man. There's so much learning there. There's so much life there, because that's life, right? There's so much to it, On the flip side, if you leave, that's you're teaching them something too. That's okay to quit. It's okay to give up. It's okay to walk away when you've already invested in something. You got kids quitting the basketball team when they start. They quitting the football team when they start. They don't want to do gymnastics anymore. Then they start quitting school because they don't want to do it anymore. Again, the moral fabric is ripped apart. The foundation has cracks and holes in it, and it's going to spill over into other things. So when you stay, I think there's reason, there's circumstances that can exist that allow you to say, you know what, we need to pull away. And then your co-parenting got to be on point. Because I told you, when you have kids, man, it changes the game. Because it's not about you anymore. There are three other souls and spirits you are responsible for. So, yeah, I say, especially if it's not an abusive relationship, you stay. You stay, and you work that out. And you teach along the way. Your job as parents, you got to groom your kids. You got to get them ready for adulthood. And this is what better way, what better script than your own? What better experience than they can have and learn from than your own? For them to become the parents that they need to be, or for them to become the men and women that they need to be growing up. Because at the end of the day, it's about do they know how to make decisions? That's my perspective. Can you teach them to make sound decisions? And that spills over into everything, because the opposite does the same thing. You give up, they give up.
Speaking of,
you keep it together, they keep it together.
Yeah, speaking of teaching them about sticking to it, I heard you say earlier exhausting all your options. So I want you to touch on that in a second, and also how that plays into all the no's that we saw on Facebook. The mass majority were no, 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 no. So I want you to tie in, where do you think all the no's came from versus exhausting the options? But first, would you please give your contact information so the audience get a chance to grab that again, please?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Dr. McGHEE, Dr. J. McGHEE, McGHEE on Facebook. On Facebook, Dr. J. McGHEE, McGHEE. And on Twitter, @J_. I know we don't use that a lot, _ McGHEE, McGHEE. That's my Twitter handle. And you can hit me at Dr. J. McGHEE on Facebook.
And right now, since we're live, if you do want to call before Dr. McGHEE goes for the night, 917-725-4241. We will take your calls live. If you agree or disagree with us, it's all good. We do respect the City Road Show. You are welcome to disagree or to ask questions. You do not have to agree to call the show. You don't have to agree. We are chopping it up together. This is a collaborative effort. So if you'd like to try to reach us right now while we have Dr. McGHEE, it's 917-725-4241. Okay, Doc, if you'd please hit us with that thought about exhausting the options, that phrase you gave us, and also why you think that on our poll today, and we appreciate all the responses we got on Facebook, but to that question, should men and women stay married just for the children, why there were so many no's. Your thoughts on that?
Man, we live in a society where everybody gets a trophy, and you're looking at, I'm going back to, kids being in school. I'm start there. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a reward. Everybody gets a certificate. No one wants to feel left out. Right?
Right.
It's okay. It's not about winning and losing anymore. It's okay. It's about the fun of the game. You know, things are a lot more difficult in a lot of ways, and a lot more easier than they were in the past. And and if you look at certain things, but there are more options for us to do something differently, do things differently, especially when it comes to relationships. It's easier to walk away, to leave. And I think it goes back to what I was talking about in the previous show about this idea of selfishness, the idea of I'm my own person, the idea of we moved away from this collective piece where it takes a village to raise a child, and and you didn't agree with me then. I don't think you agreed with me, or you understood where I was coming. Yeah, you understood where I was coming from, but I don't think we were on the same page when I mentioned, hey, if I got in trouble down the street, Aunt Nisi, she might get on me, yell at me, and she might spank me, and then Miss Wallace, I'm gonna walk in back home, and she's gonna spank me because she saw what happened too. And then when I get home to my grandma, she's gonna spank me, and then my mom's gonna spank me, and I'm gonna punish me.
I remember that. And let me say, I thought it was a great point. My response, you're right, because I kind of skipped the direct answer because I gave a different thought, which was that, remember I said my dad was from Louisiana, mom's from Mississippi, I knew exactly what you were talking about. But then I went to saying how I had it already in the house, where it was at. So I was blessed to have that. But no, I'm 100% supportive of that. That's what I was trying to say about the Louisiana, Mississippi part, is that I know exactly where that comes from and the importance of that. So yeah, you're right. I said it in a different way, but what I was really saying is that, I know where that come from, and I support that that people needed to have that type of community where, if we let your mama know. But even if, even before we let your mama know, I know what your mama thinking. Your mama don't want you out here like that. So,
right.
I mean, so I'm with you 100%.
So we have that, we had that those types of structures in place to, don't touch my kids, that's my kid. And even if they're wrong, and in the schools again, it's like, if parents come to the school beefing out, they used to look at the kid and say, hey, what did you do? Now they come to the school saying, what did you do to my kid? And then you go from, and this might be a little touchy, but a Sydney Rhodes show, right?
There it is.
You go from when you look at the church, you had churches that were local in the community,
right.
Where there was that a strong sense of accountability, to more of the mega churches that are coming, where you can slip in, slip out almost unnoticed. And that level of accountability is not necessarily there like it is in a traditional or old school church.
Well, see, so I will give a little pushback on one thought right there, and before I get to the mega church, let's go. Nowadays though, let's say you really can't trust cats. I mean, back then we was talking about Louisiana, Mississippi. Yeah. I mean, the family. Okay, so now that neighbor though, they had a certain level of attention to family and family values, quote unquote. Okay, nowadays that dude down the street better not touch my child. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, okay, because I mean, like I tell you, lead is too cheap. So you keep your hands to yourself, So this is where I'm coming from. But that's there again. There's a breakdown, and it just go to what you said. There's a breakdown of that accountability. So you can't really trust that in the same way that it used to be, where that neighbor really was a neighbor. That neighbor was not violating Absolutely. Your child. And there's a difference. Nowadays, I mean, you do have to be concerned because every principal's not like a Dr. McGHEE, So, like, okay, in Maryland a couple weeks back where that dude, the little kid broke his jaw in the wall and all that nonsense, what I'm saying? I mean, stuff is happening, man. And your children are not necessarily safe at school for various reasons. So I mean, you take it to the church. I mean, in fact, right? A lot of the church buildings that was also the schoolhouse. Mm-hmm. So there was a total connection there, like you said. That the church house was the schoolhouse. So there was a mixture of the moral training. There was a mixture of not just academics, not just the reading and writing, arithmetic. No, it wasn't just that. It was also your character, who and what you are becoming. And there's a breakdown. There's a breakdown with that. Now, you were saying about the mega churches. Okay, so there it is again that we're talking about good and bad. So you're weighing it, right? You're weighing it good and bad, because although they may not know your name, they got a place for your kids, little daycare hookup while you at, service. There's services for your child, right? There's extra things. I mean, they might have people out there in the parking lot, greeting you and watching your car, or, there's concerts coming and big time singers coming there, and, all kinds of stuff, so there's trade-offs to, they might not know my name, but they got a great scholarship program, with heavy dollars. I can get $10,000 for my child going to this church, so there's all kinds of stuff that you're looking at trade-offs. But I hear what you're saying as far as having that one-on-one, helping to raise your particular child. Sometimes we do miss that, and people feel like, hey, I'm not getting what I need to really know what to do.
Right, and again, absolutely. You're right. There are trade-offs there. There are going to be trade-offs there. But for the purpose of what I'm saying, what I'm trying to build is that there's a disconnect in that personal relationship. There's a disconnect in the level of accountability to your family, to your community, to yourself. There's a level of disconnect, and so that spills over into your personal relationships too. When there's an out, a lot of people have more of a reason to exercise the out, as opposed to sticking with it. And based on the decisions that you made, seeing it through. Kids quitting basketball teams. Everybody getting the ribbon, and you getting celebrated for something you didn't earn. You didn't earn anything, so you didn't learn. So your experiences are diminished. They're jaded. They're clouded. And so now, when you have those experiences that are diminished or cloudy, or your decision making is impacted by that as well. So who you choose as a mate, who you choose as someone you're dating, who do you choose to marry, how you interact with yourself becomes cloudy, And so I know I went a long way about it to get to the point saying that, hey, so I just believe that there are people out here who, society has led us down a road where it's easier for us to jump off, to leave, to quit, to give up, to not endure the pain and grow from that pain, opposed to sticking with it and creating experiences from that. And then not enough role models to be able to do that. Fathers are not staying in the homes. You know what I'm saying? My dad left. He left. And so there's a part of me that had to learn about manhood in a very, very different way, and not having that father there to say, let me show you how to do this. Let me build your foundation for you. Let me help pour the cement in your framework so that you're stable if something were to happen to me. Let me teach you how to make decisions. And let me teach you how to stick with your decisions as a man, even if you feel like, oh, I might be wrong. You stick with your decision. Man, have that, man. I had to learn the hard way. Trial and error. So I think it all plays, you see I think it all plays a part in our relationships with other people. Women of the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It plays a role in our decision making. And it plays a role in how we interact with one another, or if we fail to interact with one another. It's safer. It's easier if I don't say anything to you. I had a student today, man. We had a conversation, and he would rather say, I don't know, as opposed to answer my question. I'm talking about a simple yes or no question.
Right.
Yes and I don't know. What do you mean I don't know? I don't know. Yes or no. He was too afraid to make a decision. And when you don't make a decision, or you don't say anything at all, man, come on. Stick with something. Live with something. Take something on the chest. Be punched in the face. You talk about being punched in the face. Get punched in the face sometimes. It's okay to get punched in the face. It's okay to lose a fight. You don't have to See, now we're at a point, man, where cats don't even fight anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because the endurance is not there.
Yeah.
The tenacity is not there. It's like, I'd rather just shoot you instead of fighting, go home, lick my wounds, come back, fight another day, live another day. No, you got to die.
Yeah.
That's what we are, man. So it's I don't know, man. I'm starting to get emotional about it now. I'm starting to get mad, you know. But I hope you see where I'm going with this, man. So, I know we started talking about, you know, the relationships and people finding these out.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this is trying to be sensitive to Crystal's needs. Yeah. You know, I mean, Crystal, obviously she has serious needs, you know, and I appreciate your perspective of the fact that the children, they need to upgrade, you know, their work ethic and their sense of responsibility, but it's coming from the parents, because if they see their parents sticking it out, then that may be a drive, like you're doing in your household, you know, that you and your wife are doing the best you can to say, hey, anything could happen to one of us, so we're trying to put in them those positive messages and images for them to emulate, right? Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But the absence of that is what we're seeing. If Crystal leaves, then we want to be sensitive to Crystal's needs, we want to be sensitive to those children, and we want to be sensitive to Mike and whoever else may be impacted, you know, as a consequence to this. Now, you know, I think that there's a question somewhere in here, Doc. There's a question about, why do people think that if I leave the marriage, I'll be happy, when they might forget that they spent years being unhappy by themselves? Like why all of a sudden do you think that you're going to just find another dude real quick and be happy, or in the house by yourself, you're going to be happy? You know, how do you know that's not going to shock you? I mean, shock you to your core to spend all them days by yourself now, when you just had 3 children and a husband. I'm just saying, if by chance they get split up like that, you know, I mean, you know, why do you think that's going to be easy? Why do you think that's going to be so much fun?
Mm-hmm.
The grass is greener.
It's a mirage, man. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's a symptom of, I believe, a child not fully coming into womanhood or manhood. Because that sounds like something that kids do. It sounds like a response that a kid would have, a child. You know, and then you have to let life teach you. All right, you have to learn. You have to figure. You don't have to learn your own. You have to learn the hard way. I told you don't touch the stove.
Mm-hmm.
You had okay. Yes. So I think there's a because there's, especially in the black community, we have that signifies that we've entered adulthood, manhood, womanhood. We don't have a bar mitzvah. We don't have a quinceañera. What do we have? And maybe you can help me with this, because I've been trying to figure it out. What do we have? Is it when we graduate from high school? I mean, what is it? What do we have that says now you have entered? There are tribes in Africa, you know, that you know, for the men, it signifies that you are entering manhood, and you know, they get circumcised. You know, what is it for us as Black Americans?
Now I'm gonna tell you that.
Going to manhood.
Right, and so that's a problem. That's a problem. That's my answer. That's a problem. But I will tell you that if you, this is a thought here, Doc. If you have men in your life, if you are an African American dude and you have men in your life that you respect, now I'm just keeping it 100. Now, about when I say it, cats out there gonna be like, dang, that makes sense. But you gotta hold on for a second till I get there, right? But you know, if you got men in your life that you respect and you're an African American dude, when that older dude acknowledges who you have become, you know something about yourself.
That makes sense.
So if you got a dude that, it might be your pastor, it might be Uncle so-and-so, but if you got it might be that old football coach, you know, basketball. But there's a dude, if you got that kind of, you know, training your life where there was that dude, when he acknowledges you, when that guy acknowledges you, I'm telling you, man. I mean, it's not the high school degree or something. No, that don't mean nothing like when that brother says to you, "You a man now, and you got responsibility. I'm expecting you to handle your, whoop 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 whoop." When he's talking to you like that, I'm telling you, man, it puts you in another place. Puts you in another place. Mm-hmm. There's one more thing I've noticed, because you're right. There's no formal, that you don't go on a vision quest. You don't go kill a lion and come back and now you got your stripes. Right, I hear you. You don't go to boot camp and you come back and you got your. No, you don't. Okay, so I'm hearing you. There's another thing that I've seen happen to dudes that they feel it, but it doesn't necessarily stay with them. But they do feel it. Okay, a lot of times, even if cats are young, they might be 17, 18, but when they had a first child, or when she delivers, the day of the delivery, and they're holding their child for the first time, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. If you happen to talk to that cat tell you, my whole life to change. Said, this is man. I'm gonna stop doing that stupid stuff, dog. This is it, man. This is doing something to me, man. Now I'm just telling you, they really mean it 100% at that moment. Yeah. It may not stick, but in their mind, it was a rites of passage. It was like yesterday I was a different dude than I am today.
Yep.
So I mean, those are two examples. Those are two examples of a ad hoc way of getting there, of something that happens. I've seen out there, but no, a formalized bar mitzvah type situation. No, it's not rolling like that.
And I feel you, and you're right. You're right. You say it might not. The second example, it might not last that long. Why? Because the hole is in the foundation. Mm. There's no structure. There's nothing support. That moment was a moment. And you're right. The realization was there. Like, wow, my whole life changed. I'll do anything for this baby.
Right.
And then as soon as the storm comes,
they out.
Oh, I gotta get in the house, man. I gotta get out of here. I can't be in this weather. The hurricane's coming. The hurricane. But they don't realize that in the eye of the hurricane, that's what peace is. They don't realize that the storm is going to keep coming. They don't keep coming. You either come, look, man, you're either one of three places in life, man. One of three places. You're getting ready for the storm because the storm's coming. Storm where the peace is. Or you're coming out of the storm. These cats are running from the storm. They're evading the storm. They don't want to deal with the storm. And that young man doesn't have the foundation. And then to go back to the first example, right, I get you. There are a lot of old heads that do that. But the old heads are changing, man. Old heads, man, back in the day, our grandfathers, those cats they had money. They could throw you a few dollars. They put a few dollars in your pocket. They had life insurance. They had the retirement, you know what I'm saying? They might have had the pension coming from General Motors, whatever. They got the pension coming in. They living real good. All they do is get up in the morning from retirement. They mow their lawn. They take care of the gutters and stuff. They keep the house clean. And they argue and fuck with people that's walking down the street.
Right.
Nowadays, our senior citizens, they got to go back to work. They still work. They working at Walmart. They trying to make ends meet still. 60, 70, 35, 80 years old. Then you got cats that are growing up. Because you and I are getting older now, and the kids that's coming through.
Wow.
The apathy is real. I hope that they acknowledge the men, the young guys that are coming after them, and tell them, you ready for me, I got you. You doing it, young blood. I hope they do that. I'm a little nervous because of the apathy and the foundation.
And I know a lot of the cats, and I'm with you on that foundation and the apathy. I mean, you ain't trying to go back and working at Walmart. So I mean, that's a trying thing. That's really a trying thing. I also know that if the older gentleman is doing what he got to do and he got that job as a greeter at Walmart, okay, let's just say that, okay. So he done sucked it up. He got to make it happen. He got to get some money, okay. Yep. All right. But when he see the young dude come in there, and I'm not saying nothing against the young brothers, okay? I'm just talking about perception. I'm talking about perception, all right? But when you see the young brothers come in there sagging and bop, and, all wop, I mean, that connection ain't like that, you know, because it's gotta hit him in all kind of ways that he done seen so much in his life, and now he at Walmart making, you know, a couple of bucks just to make it through the month, okay? And you see these little kids coming in, you know, don't even speak to him, head down in their phone, headphones on, you know, got the beats, you know, they doing their thing, and just walk by him and, like, you know, I'm not saying it's always like that, but I'm not feeling like he's got a good feeling about that. I'm not feeling like he's saying, you know, that he's encouraged about the future. I don't think he like, yeah, we gonna be all right. I don't think he's feeling that way.
Right. Neither.
I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I mean, it's a real dilemma right now, you know. But you know, I'm hopeful. I'm in the trenches, you know, and that's the kind of effect that I want to share. That's the kind of change I want to have. I want to have that type of impact, you know, and help develop some of those foundations and give some of that moral compass and that integrity and that character and that self-esteem and self-efficacy to some of our young brothers, man.
Let's help the sisters right quick, Doc. Let's help the sisters.
Please,
Let's bring you got a minute? You got another minute? I know I'm holding you. So
I got a little time. You know, talking about past my bedtime. But
you know, we appreciate it. I want to bring in Mike for a second. In our case study, you know, Mike here. I want to help the sisters. So if we had Mike in the office, we call him. We gonna get, hey man, let's get a few ticks. What are we going to say to this dude to help him address the needs that Crystal has that are legitimate, but also, like we said, he's getting punched in the face and he's got the thigh wound. So we understand that he is, you know, feeling like she ain't carrying her weight right now. Okay, so he feels some kind of way. But let's try to help Crystal. Let's get into Mike a little bit. And see if we can jack him up and get him straightened out. What are we saying to Mike?
First of all, Mike's a leader. Mike's a leader. He's the leader of the family. And it's at the end of the day, you got to take care of that woman. We talked about this at the beginning a little bit. We touched on it. He has to take care of that woman as well. And if she's feeling that way, it's his job, because he has to guide her back to the place where she's feeling. Where she's feeling. Right now, there seems like there's some emotional voids there. She sounds emotionally homeless in this relationship. She's emotionally homeless. And it's his job, if he can't get her, you know, to that level, that place of happiness, if he can't attend to those needs, he has to at least be able to guide her there while doing everything else that he's doing. It's part of it. As the man, he's the leader, man. He's the leader. He has to lead from the front. And I'm not saying it's easy. But he might need some help. But it's his job. It's his duty. Because if that's tight, if he gets her back on her square, you know, then he's energized to be able to continue to do what it is that he needs to do and that he's going to continue to do. The life part of his love. He loves his life. He has to. So I would start there. He is the leader of this relationship. He's the principal of this. He is the CEO of this company. And he got to keep the profits up. You know, if there's a leak in this department, in the wife department, he has to take care of it. And
he's losing it, right?
That's why I would start with him.
Yeah, I appreciate that. He's losing it. He's losing it though, right? Because as much as he's trying to do good, and I know, hey, hats off, he's a good dad and all that, but he's losing his family though, you know. So I mean, he can blame and he can be mad at Crystal, but at the end of the day, he's losing it. She's ready to get out, and that's going to cause all kind of disruption. That there already is disruption, right? Okay, and we don't know what type of things are going to happen next if this continues to erupt. So he's got to change a tactic at least, or else she's going to go, right? I mean, one way or another, right? The way this is going down, she desperately wants out. So at some way, we got to give him something to get to health in the mix. That we need some health in the spot, and so he's got to find a way, like you're saying, to get her what she needs, and he needs to know that it's his responsibility, even if it means wearing another hat on top of the 10 he already has.
Yep.
And I think we have to acknowledge that maybe he is wearing the 10, right? I think a lot of times, you know, that's a problem with cats feel like they're not getting the attaboys, and, you know, they already doing the super dad type stuff, and they shouldn't have to do no more. They shouldn't have to do the extra. And then here we are saying, nah, man, you just might have to do the extra. And that goes back to that theme that, you know, I'm bringing up all night, which is maybe it's not supposed to be just because it's not easy. That means it's not supposed to be. In other words, that it may still, you might be totally on the right path, and even though it's hard, that's still the right path. It's not the signal to you that because it's rough, that means it ain't supposed to be. Them things don't necessarily go together. If you really wanted to get to be Dr. Jason McGHEE, there was all kind of papers that you had to write when you didn't feel like it. There's all type of tests you had to take when you didn't feel like it. There was all types of schedule changes and going to class and sitting there. Sometimes in the class, they had the air on in the wintertime. You hot, you cold, you this, you that. You know, you hungry, you got your kids at home, your wife needs you. There's all kinds of sacrifices that you make in life. So why you gotta, you know, why you can't make sacrifices for your family in this respect?
Yep.
We need your contact information, Dr. McGHEE. Now I'm gonna let everybody know that we are saying that Dr. McGHEE is available. So you getting a lot tonight, and you can go on demand and check out the shows. But you can also get even more if you bring them live to your organization, to your church, to your school. Dr. Jason McGHEE is available to come and answer your questions live and talk to your students, talk to young men, etc., and your teachers, your staff, about understanding these complexities that we're facing. So this is how you get in touch with Dr. Jason McGHEE. Please, sir.
Hey, listen, Dr. J McGHEE, McGHEE. That's Facebook. And then you can hit me on my Twitter handle, on Twitter at J_McGHEE, McGHEE, at Twitter. And you get me there, man. I'm always open and interested in coming out speaking, school, churches, events, and this is something I love to do. And ladies. But Mike, I gotta throw something else in there for Mike, man.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
I'm thinking about Mike. Mike in a tough spot. He's in a tough spot, you know. But for the ladies, this is your king, right? Mike he's your king. He's a king. And if you help Mike understand his why, help him understand his mission. You know, yes, you're emotionally defunct right now. Yes, you're a little, there's a void there. There's an emptiness there. You want to be loved too. Acknowledge him. Let him know he's doing a good job with those kids holding it down. When he gets that energy from you, he'll find the strength to pick up a house. He'll find the strength to take care of you in spite of everything else he's doing. He'll find the strength to love you that much more. Acknowledge what he's doing. Help him remember his why. Help him remember his mission. Let him know that you need him. It goes a long way with God, man. It's going to go a long way with Mike, you know, in this situation. So I just want to put that out there for the ladies real quick.
Doc, appreciate it. Now I was trying to read. We've been receiving some posts while we were talking, and I wasn't able to get to all of it. But there's just one that I'm looking at.
Oh wow,
brother Roger. I'm not able to read it all, brother Roger. But I think I get a general understanding that you wanted us to address the fact that there could be some danger here with if Roger is feeling trapped and unappreciated and he's emotionally detached, that Crystal may be in some danger of Mike responding either with adultery or in some other ways because he's feeling, and then now she's talking about leaving. And so basically the fact that he was already not giving her care, that maybe that's a sign that danger's coming, and that now that Crystal's made it known she wants to leave, that the next step might be that Mike starts to do some things that could be abusive. So, and Roger, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read your whole post here, but it looks like there's a question being posed like that, Doc. So if you don't have time to get to it, we'll have to table it. But if you just got a quick thought on it, I apologize. There's been some coming in that we just didn't get a chance to get to.
No, man, and that kind of goes into what I was saying out there, like for the ladies, to get Mike to do what he needs to do. A guy has to feel appreciated. Because Mike, like I said, remember I said, a man's love is life, right? So he's doing all this stuff, and he's doing all this work, and there's no appreciation, there's no acknowledgement of what he's doing. Absolutely, man, that is a dangerous thing. Yeah, and Mike he could be the first one to do it, because this is how he's going to relieve some tension. This is how he's going to relieve some stress. This is how he's going to feel that acknowledgement, in a very physical way, and that's where it's going to be for him. It's a physical, it could be definitely a physical response. And Roger is absolutely, he's hitting the nail on the head. That could absolutely, he could be the one that jumps ship before Crystal does.
Wow.
And that's why I said that acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. When you acknowledge a man, and like, hey, babe, you know what? I just want you to know that I watch you hold these kids down. I watch you hold the family down. You are doing it, babe, and I love you, and I appreciate you for that. And I know it's hard. I know I've been complaining. I know that I'm sad right now. I know I'm not happy right now. But I just want you to know, in spite of this, you are the man. And I have never seen a man do it like you do. And I just want to say I appreciate you and I love you. If a woman can do that, I'm telling you, there's not a lot of men who could not take that in and run with that and use that as gasoline to do whatever they got to fuel them to do whatever it is that they need to do to take care, to continue to lead their family and do what they're supposed to do. Now, I might be asking a lot of Crystal. To do that. Right? I might be asking a lot of Crystal to do that. But I'm just telling you how men operate. They want to be acknowledged.
Well, I mean, at this stage of the game, if that technique, Doc, helps to start to mend this and helps him to start re-engaging, if that can do it, then hey, it's beautiful, right? I mean, we're fighting for an answer. So we're not saying that that it's an easy road, but we're saying that if there's something that we said tonight that can help people to maybe say, well, hey, at least maybe I can try that, to continue to exhaust those options that we talked about, right? That at least I can, some techniques of acknowledgement, or realizing that is, maybe it won't be greener on the other side, or maybe it is, going to be tough for a while, but we can come through this like we've come through other things. We don't have to let it, go. What we have is precious, or that it may affect these children, especially with special needs, and it may impact these children in ways that we don't even see right now. And we don't want it to carry over into their marriages and into our future grandchildren. We don't want all of this baggage that we could be producing to come back on us, and we say, wow, we should have kept on trying, or there's something else we could have done, or I wish I would have known now, I wish I knew then what I know now, that type of thing. So Doc, you right on it, and we appreciate you, and you're welcome to call anytime, man. And I thank you for staying up with us so late, man. we appreciate you, man. We really appreciate you. And to those that were coming in on the chat, next time we'll have to try to get more of you. We were watching the phones, but there were some other chats that came. People were chatting, so next time we'll try to get to some of those and make sure we can get Dr. McGHEE back on so that he can continue to answer your questions. And it's a tough situation, though. It's a tough situation, but that's what we did with on the Sydney Rhodes Show. A lot of complex situations, but if we can help people, then we're doing the right thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Dr. McGHEE, one more time, please get your contact information, and we look forward to hearing from you again, but we want to make sure that people get a chance to get your contact information one more time, please.
All right, Facebook, you can hit me at Dr. J. McGHEE, that's McGHEE, and on Twitter, at J_McGHEE, at Twitter. So hit me up, Facebook, Twitter, and I would love to come out and talk. I love to chit-chat with you. Just hit me up. Let's do it.
There it is, for real, and you won't be disappointed. Doc, any closing thoughts?
Man, listen, we gotta love each other. We gotta love each other. And my mentor told me that love is the definition of love is the ability to give and expect nothing in return. And so that's what we gotta do, man. We gotta love each other.
On the love, I feel that. Hey, man, you have a great night. We appreciate you. Stay safe. Keep taking care of your wife and your babies. We proud of you, and keep setting that good example. And we're going to keep doing what we do to keep helping people to get on that path. And we proud of you, man, and we really support what you're doing. And just keep helping in those trenches, man. And, the kids that you deal with, children at your school and around the community, we're grateful to you for what you do to help out and to be there every day in the trenches, actually helping to plug up as many of those gaps as we possibly can. So we appreciate that, Doc. Stay safe, and we'll look forward for you to call back real soon.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate what you're doing. So thank you, and, you hear from me real soon.
There it is.
Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, play some tunes. If you listen to the full program, we get some music going, and then I'll come back and have some closing thoughts for you. I got to wrap this all up and give you a couple thoughts for myself, and then we'll be in for the night. So stay tuned, play a little music. We'll be back. Thanks again to Dr. Jason McGHEE. Absolutely wonderful. We appreciate him so much. Great time with him. And all the programs will be on demand, iTunes and YouTube. Go back and listen to this program. Share it with your family, friends, especially young boys, etc. Dr. Jason McGHEE was in the house. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete. I got my eyes on you, and you got no clue what I'm supposed to do. I can't help myself. Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete. No, you wouldn't take what's not yours, if you know who I am. When the night will fall, I'll haunt your dreams. Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete.
The Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sidney Rhodes Show. Shh. Have you heard? You ain't hear about that. Did you hear? Who told you? That Increased Solution LLC is making a 24/7 network? Come on now. Well, what about the Sidney Rhodes Show? Oh, Sidney Rhodes Show is still going to be from 9 to midnight, though. Oh, okay, because, you don't be tripping. Sidney Rhodes Show is still from 9 to midnight. Okay. But, you mean all those other hours, 24/7, need to be filled? Which means cats they can have their own show? You tripping. Are you serious? Or they can be guests on other shows? So you mean if you had a talent or idea or something you want to do, you got a chance right here to reach the world? Come on, man. What's the catch? What? All they gotta do is get at you? On Facebook? Sidney J. Rhodes Jr.? So wait a minute, what kind of topics? I mean, they could do what? Relationships, religion, news, education, health, race, business development, entertainment, empowerment? What? All of that? And whatever else? What? All they gotta do is get at you? What you trying to say? That if they want to get out there, they can get out there. This their chance. For real though? For real, they just go Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr., send you a message and be like, hey, this is something I want to do. And then if it's good, it's good. Is that what you're trying to say? For real? Man, that sounds all right. That's kind of cool. All right. Nah, I'm with that. I ain't going to hold you up with that. All right. Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Okay. All right. I might try to have a show. That's all right. Well, wait. What if I got a product or a service or something I just want to advertise to the world? I could Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr., and I can hook up and try to get that too? Man, that's all right. Oh, man, go on, man. That's cool, man. All right. No, I ain't gonna hate. I like it. 24/7 network. All right, helping people, giving some good perspectives, having people think about things, man, and some entertainment too, man. That's hot. All right, I'm cool. That'll work. Why do this, Sidney Rhodes Show? Well, it's not about whether or not, we have all the answers. I think it's a collaborative effort. I think that there are a lot of brilliant people in the world, and this is a point, a critical point in history. And if we can circle the wagons round, if we can bring the people together to think about the concepts and look at things from a different angle, different perspective, look deeper, I mean, it's possible that we can help somebody. It's possible that we can create better structures, towards a more perfect union. You dig? I mean, so I really, I throw out a lot of questions, because I really want people to think. And, sometimes I just, I believe there's a utility to just allowing some things to be questioned, just that First Amendment right, just allow it to be questioned, and then if it's the truth, let it be the truth, I mean, if it stands, let it stand. If not, then we got work to do. You feel me? I think we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our future. We owe it to our children to get to the truth and then stand on that. That's the Sidney Rhodes Show, So I invite people from all different perspectives, with respect. We put it up. We put it to the test. That's what we do. Sidney Rhodes Show. And that's why we do what we do. Gotta love it. Sidney Rhodes Show. The Sidney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sidney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sidney Rhodes Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we just want to once again thank you for being with us tonight. Great night. Didn't I tell you we were going to get deep? Very, very deep. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate Dr. Jason McGHEE for sharing. Just the rare. That's very rare. Very, very rare for a man to be that transparent and just, give of himself in that way and let people hear his perspective. And, pretty deep. It's also rare. Young brother, he's a doctor. His wife's a doctor, 3 children, that's a very unique perspective. So that's such a treat, and we're all honored by that. So that's just great. Sidney Rhodes Show every night, 9 to midnight. I appreciate you these responses that we're getting on Facebook, and even the late response that we received during the program from Diane and Tracy and Dave and Melinda. I mean, just great responses. So many responses all day long on Facebook. We appreciate all of you so much. Kathy, we appreciate your responses, and just keep it coming, because it helps to frame the conversation so we can go deeper and deeper. And you never know how many people you're helping, because even though there are a lot of people who are responding, there are even more people who are reading. Okay, so when we ask these questions and you give up yourself and you say, hey, how you see things, I mean, you never know how many people are reading that, who are benefiting because they're going through and they can relate to what you're saying. So it's just a great forum. It's really a great time. So we appreciate you spending the time with us. Now, let me say this in closing on tonight. Now, the topics that we're talking about are so deep that you got to know we're going to have to, revisit these concepts again in one way or another. You can't really exhaust it all in one night. I hope you like the case study format. I wrote that so we kind of zero in. Maybe you'll use that more often, so we kind of zero in and have a framework where we can all kind of relate to what we're talking about, instead of it just being too abstract. So I mean, we do have 3 hours a night, but even in 3 hours, there's so many twists and turns to everything. We want to try to get to the nitty and gritty. So I appreciate that. Now, let me say, we gotta take better care of each other. I mean, that's definitely true. Definitely true. So in our case study, if Crystal's hurting, we cannot just ignore her pain. I mean, Mike's got to address that. He's got to do a better job. It's his wife. Okay? It's a part of him. She is a part of, so we have, if you're going to be married and you're going to have this union, then you hurt, I hurt. These vows are supposed to mean something. Ups, downs, sickness, health, rich, poor, it's supposed to mean something. Death to his part, supposed to mean something. He stood in front of God, made this promise. Okay? It don't mean it's going to be easy. And I'm not trying to say that because you just stay together. That ain't easy. So we need to up our skill level. Sometimes we got to up our endurance. Sometimes we're going to have to, be more considerate of the other person, less selfish. Now, I might say it a little differently. We can talk about this sometime too, but if y'all really won, being selfish ain't all bad, because you won. Holla if you hear me. And that's where that came from earlier tonight. We talk about, hey, if she's hurting, you're supposed to hurt. Flip side. Mike's doing a lot. Okay? He's doing a lot. So, hey, if she's going to leave because she's unhappy, I mean, there's a lot of disruption happening. So, again, we try to be sensitive to all sides here and say, are there skills, are there ways that we can re-engage, are there ways in which we can heal? Because there are 3 children involved. And once we start splitting this up, man, there'll be some major, major impacts. We want you to look at that. Look at that. Don't just think, they'll get by. People get divorced all the time. I'm just supposed to be happy and they'll get over it. It might not be that easy. For real, for real. Now, I don't want you to be in a situation you're not safe. That's why I put in the case study. He ain't knocking you upside your head. He ain't doing that, okay? So I'm not trying to put you in an unsafe situation. Although I also admit, it's more complex, right? It's very complex. It's very intricate. So like I've said, emotional. If you feel like you are being emotionally abused in some way, like neglect, that can also cause a physical pain. I'm not dismissing that. These are real issues. But breaking up that home, jeez, we got to fight to keep that home together. I mean, we got to fight. We got to fight. And even if cats nowadays make it easier and easier and easier to walk away, it's such a rare thing. You got mom and dad at home, 3 children, such a rare. Come on, can we fight for it? Can we fight for it? It ain't got to be easy. Love is not easy. Shucks. Just stop that. Stop that. well, something must be wrong because if it's this hard, something got to be. No. Maybe you just need to step it up. Your job ain't easy, but you go to work. Everything ain't got to be easy. That don't make it wrong because it's not easy. Come on, y'all. Now, let me say this to be fair as well. If you've gone through this already, okay, there's no limit to what you can become. Holla if you hear me. We all come from different things, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, and we go through things even now, okay? So you might be a person that no fault of your own, you were raised this way, your parents got divorced, but that's why we say, just like Dr. Jason McGHEE, raised by his dad, you still can become Dr. Jason McGHEE, okay? So there's also inspiration here. There's also the thought that we're trying to keep it together, but it doesn't mean that if you went through this, that's the end of the road. Nobody's saying that. So don't feel some kind of way that, you're going through this or you may end up that way, then, it's all over. No, we're not saying that. Come on now, hey, we're going to have to try to pick it back up and push forward. But we don't want to have to take those blows if we don't have to. Okay? I mean, don't stand out in the middle of the street and get hit by a car just because you might survive. Jeez. How about keep your butt out the street? More ways than one. So we can avoid the pain to begin with. That sounds intelligent. So that's what we're here for. That's why we keep it so 100, And we collaborate to get to. That's right. Get to. And I appreciate you. We try to help. It's all free. Every night, 9 to midnight, we share, we collaborate, we do what we do to help each other. So in closing, the Mike and Chris situation, it's just one situation. And even that's incredibly complex. So I do know that you may have thoughts and questions. Feel free to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. You can always listen to the programs on iTunes or YouTube. Put in The Sidney Rhodes Show in your search bar. Definitely contact Dr. Jason McGHEE. Bring him in for your group, your school. Come speak live. If you need his contact information, you didn't get it from the program, you can always reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we link you up to him. No problem there at all. We're happy to do that. All right. How y'all doing? Great night, huh? Boy, we covered a lot of ground. Sisters, I hope we helped. Hope we were respectful to both sides. Hope we wasn't, fair to Mike's side, fair to Crystal's side, fair to the children's side. Hey, we ain't trying to just beat up on one person here or one side of the situation, because it's family. We all got to upgrade. We all got to help each other and love each other more. With that, much love. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 to midnight. Sydney Rhodes Show, Facebook, Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. Follow us at Sidney J. Rhodes Jr. The Sydney Rhodes Show. You're on the right road with the Sydney Rhodes Show.